Okay, hey gents, module 4 again, another part to it. It's just business, the initial legalities, okay, the things that you need to get sorted initially, all right, when you're just starting out. That's what I say, initial legalities. Okay, so at some stage you will need legal counsel, yeah? You'll have to, okay? But how often and for how long for will depend on you and the ex-partner, and how quickly and how well you can have that amicable relationship to get along and sort your shit out before you get to court. Okay? Because we're going to look at, in this module here, we're also going to look at ways to stay out of court, which is a win-win, which is what we want to do. I will also look at what time you can expect to have with your kids, how you what property you might get in a settlement, and things that you want to put in place to give you the best possible chance at custody and going for the 50-50, right, which is at least what you want, okay? In my opinion, at least 50-50, possibly more, all right? But you might be a dad out there that only wants the kids, 30% of the time or 25% of the time. Totally up to you, all right? I cannot judge nobody. We're all different, okay? But all I'm doing now is helping you get the best for you, all right? You right there, okay? This is going to help you. Okay, so let's jump into the initial legalities. Here we go. Okay, here we are. All right, let's get started. The first one we want to look at here is you will need legal advice. Okay, I spoke that in the intro there. At some stage you will. So find a good one. Okay, so you don't want to get a lawyer that's not well versed in family law. Okay, so this is family law. You don't want someone who does like parking fines or criminal law or anything else like that. Needs to be a specialist in family law. Okay, now searching for one, hopefully you've got family or friends that can point you in the right direction, someone that may have been in this situation in your area that you know of. Failing that, for you guys in America, ADAM is a good resource, which is the American Divorce Association for Men. I think they're on Facebook as well, so they would be a good starting point to find legal counsel, competent legal counsel who specialise in the dad's side of it in a breakup. All right, Canada, you've got Dads Canada, which is a good resource. In the UK, Divorce Aid, I think it is, that does UK and Europe. In Australia, we have Dads Online or Dads for Kids, and that's servicing possibly New Zealand as well. All right, so make sure you get counsel that has experience in family law. All right, and then as you say, that the amount of time you're going to spend with them or how much money you're going to give them depends on what you do before you need their expertise. Okay, so that's where we get back to that whole thing about being well prepared before you go to them. Okay, that goes back to that amicable relationship you have with your ex-partner, and making sure you can get all your separation certificates and parenting plans and consent orders and all this stuff done prior to going to them, okay, and having everything sorted out, okay, which leads us to the next one. What time will you get and what property you will get? Two very important questions, which they are. So what time will you get with your children? Okay, that's a big one. And what property you'll get after the settlement and after the division of assets and everything's broken up. What are you going to get and how much time are you going to get with your kids? Two big questions and two main factors that we need to focus on as single dads. If you're on the title in the house, you've contributed to the house, then you've got a good chance of getting what you want, which is the 50-50 split of any once you've paid any mortgage or any money owing on the house, any profits that you'd make should be going 50-50. It can depend on many variables there as well. Whether the common law rule applies, who's contributed the most, salaries, serviceability to any loans outstanding. There are a couple of factors there as well. Okay, so as far as the time with the kids and property after that, at this stage it probably will be, if it's between you and her, it could be a verbal agreement. All right, now a verbal agreement could be drawn up in a non-binding parenting plan. Okay. Now these are done out of court, so it's just something you can get drawn up. And in that, it's a very, as I say, it doesn't hold up in court. It won't take much value, but it will have value later on in the divorce proceedings. Okay, if you can prove that you've had a parenting plan or separation agreement or something done up prior to lodging or filing for divorce, and stipulating certain points in that about the time with the kids in custody and separation and division of assets, then that'll hold good value and good weight in the actual divorce. Okay, with the parenting plan, it does allow flexibility. Okay, between you and your partner or your ex-partner. Now, and it also can preserve the relationship a little bit, a friendship or something like that, if you can agree on certain points. Okay, and as I've said before, if she's been really, a bitch or just been really difficult trying to organise this kind of thing, this mutual agreement, then try and find something that's she really wants, okay, or other little things that you can negotiate with to give her that, but to get something for yourself as well. All right, now this is where we're not going to just compromise and just go, whatever. All right, you still want to be able to get what you want. All right, in this division here. Okay, now you also got to be thinking. You've got to be the bigger person here. You've got to be thinking with your rational brain. You don't want to, screw you, bitch, I'm going to make you pay for all this stuff and what you've done to me. No. Okay, no. You need to be of sound mind, okay, and sound actions. Mature. Yeah? Don't be drilling her down and make her pay, and, that sort of whole thing is not going to benefit anybody, all right? You need to be professional. You need to be businesslike. You need to approach it with that right mentality, okay, knowing full well what you want to achieve, okay, where you want to be and what you want to get out of this whole breakup. That's your goal, right, and how you get there. Okay, so every little decision you make in this negotiation period, I guess, when it's only just you and her working out an initial sort of plan, okay, what's going to happen once the house sells, or once we get separated, or once we sell, all these future planning things. All right, this, how you get to what you want, you need to be in the right mindset, okay? Leave the emotions out of it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be real hard to leave your emotions out of it, okay? But it's key in getting what you want as far as custody and settlement, property division, okay? All right, so let's move on to another one here. So going to court is expensive and stressful, so let's not. That's a no-brainer. You can imagine that, can't you? Going to court. You don't want to do that, okay? You can totally stay out of court, right? There's no reason why you have to go to court at all. When you actually file for divorce, it can be done, all right? Now, it is expensive. Like, you can just throw away $3,500, $4 grand just like that for nothing and still have no outcome or anything. Then you can go upwards. I've heard of some of them going over 100,000 just in legal fees because of this back and forth. Okay, so, and it's screwing her and it's screwing you big time. That's why it's essential that you get this amicable relationship and sell her and communicate the benefits to her about staying out of court. It's going to save you both thousands. Okay, you have to get that through her head, no matter how stubborn or simple she may be. And even you too, like, get it through your head. You don't want to spend time in court. It's only helping the lawyers, really, lining their pockets for your money, your hard earned. And you don't want to do that, okay? Now, if it's a case of where she's a bit narcissistic, a bit crazy, and you can't really, can't really get through to her, it's a bit hectic and a bit mad, then you've got to understand that's going to be the way it is, all right? And we're going to talk more about this in Module 8, going on different parenting and co-parenting and parallel parenting and sort of thing. But at this stage, you've got to understand that you can't control her, okay? She's, she'll be flighty, she's all over the place, but people will see that, okay? If you're maintaining your level of maturity and your level of professionalism approaching this, people will see it. People will know that she's a bit crazy, okay? And that'll help your case, all right? But just make sure what you do is you dot your I's and you cross your T's, okay? You get your backyard sorted, okay? And as I say, it is in best interest not to go to court, but if you have to, at some stage, you need to put aside your differences, all right? As any spitefulness or any, fighting and bickering in the court will cause more delays and more money out of your pocket, okay? So be prepared to not only compromise, but search for win-win alternatives. All right, try and let her hear, but come back to you here. You know what I mean? Like with something, there's sort of be bargaining there somewhere that you can do. All right, with her, make her feel like she's winning, make her feel like she's getting this, but meanwhile you're getting what you want to get to where you want to be. Yep. Okay. But again, you can guide her in those guide her to where you want to go. Yep. Thing is, try and stay out of court if you can. Okay. All right. Next point here. When you're going for 50-50 custody, all right, what considerations to be made? Okay. So I touched on it before. Going for 50-50 custody and also child support and alimony, those kind of things come into play. The main thing you need to have set up really is if you're living apart by now, you need to make sure you're in a stable environment, okay? Clean, tidy and safe, all right? The kids have adequate bedding, they get to school, all these things that we'll speak about, they need to be in place, all right? So it will help your case when you want to get custody of your children. The house or the dwelling where you've set up must be age adequate, gender adequate, ready for your children, all right? Let's say a good location where they feel safe. Not a shared place, again, I think I spoke about this before, but not a shared place. Your parents' temporary friends, again, is not good, all right? Your best scenario for having the kids when you want them is having your own place, okay? Not shared accommodation, not staying with friends or family, all right? That's long term. Okay, long term. I mean, if your parents have a great big house and you can have your own wing of that house, then sure, that's going to help as well. Okay, but not fold out couches and stuff like that. It's a definite no. Another thing to think about is who determines what's adequate for the children. Okay, you said, she said, they're on a shit bed. You're saying they're on a good bed. These kind of things. It's pretty simple, really. Photo evidence, all right, or some sort of affidavit. It won't be decided very quickly, but if you photo where they're supposedly going to stay, she can't question that, all right? So that's how you can beat that one there. Okay, so now if it's hard after you've moved out, you've got your own place set up, but you're struggling, okay? Child support and alimony. Paying your own bills, you can't afford your own place, you're still living with friends on the couch. If you are finding it hard somewhere, you really need to speak to a child support agency or some sort of firm or something that can help you out, give you guidance and get you going. All right, there are professionals out there, all right, that specialise in this aspect of a separation, so they can help you get to where you want to be. If that's just to get your own place set up so you can get your kids, then they'll get you there, and then everything else will flow from that. Okay, so as I've said before, don't be afraid or don't be too proud to get help. Okay, it took me ages to admit that I needed help. It took me ages to try and it's a bitter pill to swallow, like admitting that you're fucking up, you've gone wrong somewhere and you need help. But don't waste time, okay? If you need help, make the decision, follow it through. Yep, I need help here, and go and source the resources you need to get yourself set up, okay? Now, more considerations we've got here for 50-50. It's also about the benefit to the child, having a meaningful relationship with both parents. Okay, so that's a consideration as well. They also need to make sure that the child is being protected from physical and psychological harm, abuse or neglect, or family violence. So those things are something they look at as well when thinking about custody. Now 50-50 is not necessarily a starting point. What needs to be considered is the best interest of the children. All right. So if that's with their mother at the start, a lot more than you, or if it's with you, a lot more than the mother, then that's where it has to start. Okay. But ultimately, as I said, you might want them only a quarter of the time or only a third of the time. Whatever you want. Okay. That's what you want to try and aim for. Okay. But consider these things. I know I'm saying 50-50. All right. But if you want it 60-40 or 70-30, whatever, then that's okay. All right, but following these points here that I'm making is going to help you get what you want, which is ultimately what it is. So I'm working for you now. All right, I'm trying to help you get what you want. And there's considerations also here is that do you have time to have the kids 50-50? That's being honest, brutally honest with yourself. Okay, do you have the time to do it? Okay, you've got to think about the school, extracurricular activities, your work. Do you have help available on your side of the family, or people can help you when you need them? Okay, things to consider. I mean, in my case, I moved out and I didn't see the kids. It wasn't 50-50 when we first started, but that was a work arrangement. As I say, I could have really forced the issue, and I had every right to ask her to leave, and that's the way it was going, but it just didn't work out that way, and so I just had to go in my situation, but ended up getting to split custody, equal custody, and now it's great now. Okay, so it did take some time. All right. Another thing to consider also is if you're considering the 50-50 is the quality time. All right, so quality time is very important. If you do have the time for it, consider all your commitments that you have. Yeah. And then make sure you can allow quality time with your kids, because you don't want to just go for split equal custody just because you can. Make sure you can fill in that time and have quality time with your kids. All right, you don't want to have them and then not have to see them 10-20 minutes a day. That's a shit relationship. Okay, because we'll delve into that later on, but you need to have a good relationship with your kids, especially in this time. All right, so only do it if you can. That's my main point. Only do it if you can. All right. And again, if it's not quite where you want to be with how much you're seeing the kids, eventually you can get the visitation rights. All right. Now, depending on the situation, I mean, I've heard stories of where the ex-partners make up lies and shit about you. And then the court, then you have trouble seeing the kids, right? And it's got to be supervised visitation rights, which is not adequate as well. But remember, when things aren't going right, just suck it up, because it's going to change. It will change for you. Okay, you just got to be strong and know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and your situation will get better. All right, from where you are right now, it will get better. Okay. All right, guys, chin up. That's it for this one. We'll see you in the next slide. And bye for now.